Today's story is A Crown of His Own. When Larry was called off to new opportunities, Sunrise Farm suddenly found itself without its prized rooster. The animals overslept, and no one knew what to do. "Not to worry," soothed Farmer Jay. "We have a plan," added Farmer Kevin. And turned out to be a scrawny little guy named Clyde. "Well, hello there, neighbors," he stammered. The animals yawned and shuffled their feet.
"Not much pep in his step."
Uh-oh, he's certainly no Larry.
Roberta was nothing if not a motherly goose. After taking a gander at Clyde, she took him under her wing. "Welcome," she chirped. "I'm Roberta." "Hello," he replied shyly. "Don't worry about the others. They just miss Larry," she assured him. "Who's Larry?" inquired Clyde.
Only the best rooster ever.
"Take it straight from my mouth. He was more than that."
He was a genius.
The animal's words left Clyde in a state of speechless distress. There now, Clyde," Roberta began. "Larry wasn't a genius. He just made quite a show of it." "A show, huh?" Clyde mused. "Thanks, Rudy. You're the best." "It's Roberta," she sighed. Clyde spent the whole day gathering props, designing his costume, and choreographing a sublime two-step. He hardly slept a wink that night. Could he do it? Could he live up to Larry's legacy? Could he put on a show of a crow? Alas, he overslept.
Who ever heard of a rooster sleeping in?
What a worthless chicken. And now I'm late getting the morning cream up to the house.
Enough! Give the poor guy a break. After recovering from his initial embarrassment, Clyde hurried past the disapproving hens and rededicated himself to rehearsing. As the sun picked over the hillside the next day, Clyde assumed his position atop the coop, opened his beak and promptly fell to the ground with an undignified croak. "Are you okay?" fussed Roberta. Clyde was not okay. He was humiliated. He had a crick in his comb. His right wing was all wrong. And his waddle? Well, his waddle was a wobbly wreck.
You call that a crow?
Good grief.
What was that?
And yet Clyde was determined to get back in the saddle, so to speak.
Oh my,
said Farmer Jay. Try again, encouraged Farmer Kevin. Try again he would, but adding a dramatic aerial entrance didn't work out so well the next morning. As the animals trudged away, disgruntled and dismayed, Roberta stayed behind with Clyde.
It's taking all my horsepower not to say something foul about that bird. I think my milk is utterly curdled.
Let's go count ourselves back to sleep.
I'll never be a showman like Larry, lamented Clyde. Even though she was a goose, Roberta clucked with pity. Oh, Clyde, she implored. Forget about Larry. Just crow your own crow. Crow your own crow? He sniffed. What about the show? No lights? No costumes? Definitely forget about those, Roberta advised. Even the mustache? Clyde asked. Save it for special occasions, she answered. Would you listen to me practice? I'd be honored.
That Clyde? It's not so much like crowing, but crooning. With a little warble at the beginning, and a crescendo at the doodle, and oh, that raspy growl in the middle of the do.
Enough to give you goosebumps, exclaimed Roberta. And with that, Clyde took a deep breath, gave a shake of his comb, and called out another crow of his own. I knew you could do it, Clyde. Today's story is Too Much Glue. Our teacher says, too much glue never dries. She reminds us, glue raindrops, not puddles. And she warns me, Maddie, too much glue. But my dad and I love glue. At home, we make glue glasses, glue mustaches, and even glue bouncy balls. Mom is happy to help. So during art class, I find the fullest bottles of glue. I tip them over and squeeze. Gloop! Glue squishes from the orange tips and slops all over. Sequins and googly eyes float around in a gluey lake. Then it's time for the most important decoration. Geronimo! I belly flop onto the table and roll around, letting the glue and everything else cover me. Time to go on the drying rack, I announce. But when I try to pull myself off the table, I boing right back down. Too much glue, Maddie, too much glue, my teacher squawks. This is bad. There's only half an hour until the end of school, and all I can do is lift my head, wave my hands, and wiggle my feet. The rest of me is a blucky, stucky mess. Can somebody help me? I call. While my teacher breathes into a paper bag, Noah shouts, "Let's lasso him!" Izzy, Noah, and Owen get to work. Soon I'm roped from all sides like a rodeo pony. But when they try to pull me out, snap! The lassos break, leaving colorful octopus tentacles everywhere. The glue is too strong, and now I'm a clingy, stringy, blucky, stucky mess. Don't worry, Maddie, we know what to do, shout Luke and Grace from across the room. Is that a tow truck, I ask, as they wheel the contraption over and stick a plastic hook into my suit of glue. My friends pull one way and the glue pulls the other. Creak, click, creak, click, until kaboom! The tow truck explodes and plastic bricks rain all over. Now I'm a clicky bricky, clingy stringy, blucky stucky mess. The school nurse bursts in and checks my temperature. 98.6. Sorry, no fever. I can't send you home early. She dabs and pats me like I'm spilled juice, but the more she blots, the more the glue spreads. Soon I'm a melted mummy, clicky bricky, clingy stringy, blucky stucky mess. Then the principal comes in. He takes one look at me, sticks a note on my belly, and leaves. Seeing my teacher huffing and puffing like a train gives me a great idea. I whisper it to Haley and Owen. The final bell rings, and everyone freezes, except Owen and Haley. It's the biggest one we could make, they shout, furiously flapping a huge paper fan at me. Then just as I'm thinking I'll be note on my tummy, melted mummy, clicky bricky, clingy stringy, blucky stucky glue for the rest of my life, my plan works. Something my teacher said could never happen, happens. The glue dries. But I'm still stuck, and now I hear footsteps. The door starts to open. My father and some other carpool parents walk in. Dad comes closer and inspects me. Then he peels me off the table. Glue, yarn, bricks and all. He spins me around. No one makes a sound. Then Dad smiles. Maddie, you're a masterpiece. He holds me up for everyone to admire. My friends all cheer. The car ride home is interesting. Mom is speechless when Dad brings me in the house, but he knows just what to do. Well, kiddo, Dad says, some beautiful things only happen once, and this is one of those things. He gently grips the dried glue in front of my neck and behind my collar, and peels me open like a ripe banana. Now it's Dad's turn to glue, and he seals up the sides of the me-shaped work of art. I bet it would take all the glue in the art room to make a U-shaped work of art, Dad, I say. Dad laughs. Then he glues a big magnet to the back of my project and hangs it on the fridge. During dinner, we sneak peeks at my masterpiece. And after dinner, we take the principal's note very seriously. Today's story is The Three Little Fish and the Big Bad Shark. Once upon a time, there lived a mama fish and her three little fish, Jim, Tim, and Kim. "It is now time," said the mama, "for each of you to make a home in the deep blue sea." So off they went. The first little fish, named Jim, swam away and met a seahorse playing in some seaweed. "Can I have some of the seaweed so I can build a house?" "Take as much as you can carry," said the seahorse. Jim gathered the seaweed and made a weedy little house. Jim had just finished building his seaweed house when he heard the big bad shark knocking at the door.
Little fish, let me come in."
The little fish trembled and replied, "Not by the skin of my finny fin fin."
"Then I'll munch and I'll crunch and I'll smash your house in,"
roared the shark. So the big bad shark munched and he crunched, and he ate up every bit of the seaweed house. And Jim swam away just in time. Soon Jim found his brother. Tim said, "Don't worry, Jim, we fish stick together. You can help me build a sandy little house."
Thank you.
Jim and Tim had just started to relax in the sandy little house when the big bad shark came knocking at the door.
Little fish, let me come in."
To which the brave little fish replied, "Not by the skin of my finny fin fin."
"Then I'll munch and I'll crunch and I'll smash your house in,"
roared the shark. So the big bad shark munched and he crunched until he got a sandy mouthful, and the house crumbled. Jim and Tim swam and swam until they reached their sister Kim. Kim was setting up her house in an old wooden ship. "The big bad shark destroyed our houses." "Don't worry, you can live with me," said Kim, and they did. The three little fish had just finished lunch when they heard the big bad shark knocking at their door.
Little fish, let me come in."
To which the smart fish replied, "Not by the skin of my finny fin fin."
"Then I'll munch and I'll crunch and I'll smash your house in,"
roared the shark. So the big bad shark munched and he smashed the house in, and all his teeth fell out. The three little fish were safe at last.